Capricorn, welcome. Welcome to your Vedic Tarot reading. So this is going to be for week commencing 27th of October. Essentially what we're going to do is we're going to pull up your Vedic chart first, and then after that we are going to be deep diving. I say deep diving, one card. Everyone knows the rules, and we're just going to give clarification as to what it is that we've seen in your Vedic chart. So let's begin. Right. Here, what we see at the beginning of the week is that the moon is entering the sign of Sagittarius, the 12th house, and the lord of the 7th house is going to the 12th house. So essentially what that means is be careful of your spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, husband, of course, also non-binary relationships, etc. It doesn't really matter. I mean, there's a masculine and feminine dynamic, even in same-sex couples, etc. So just take it how it resonates, right? But there can be some losses there. There can be some losses, but there can be losses in kind of like I don't want to say like a good way, but it's not a bad way. So say for example, you might have to just drop your plans and just go on foreign travel to go see a family member or something like that, of your like the in-laws. Something like this can occur. It's very very good news for foreign travel, and also partnerships as well. So they'll just say, oh yeah, let's go to a foreign country. Let's just do this. Da, 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 da. So that's where the loss can come about. It's not like it's not like you're going to have like Manglik dosh and then you're gonna just drop dead or anything like that. So you're all good in that regard. Okay, so there may actually be quite a few new plans as well relating to a foreign country, developing perhaps like a new role or like a new kind of moving, so something like that, or just you're not actually going to move, but you might just go to a different country, and be like, well, actually, was not expecting this. Gee, okay, yeah, this might be somewhere that I could consider perhaps staying for a little while, perhaps building a family or something like that. So, okay, and then what do we have? Okay, right. So what I would say is that because if you look at the moon's placement here, the moon is also looking at the sixth house of your workplace. So what can happen here is basically, so the moon is a very very emotional planet, right? Sixth house of workplace. Essentially, what that can mean is that there are a number of enemies in your workplace. Now, that may not be the case, but even if that is so, say for example, there's been I don't know, someone said something at work, or someone sent an email around at work, and they didn't actually address you, but you think that they did, and then it's just creating this like chaos in your mind, even though it might not even be about you, and then you're like, blah, blah, blah. So it can send you in this like whirlwind kind of thing. Just be mindful of that. Be very, very, very mindful of that, and just take it as it resonates. My wonderful Capricorn ascendant. So that's one thing that I would be very, very kind of cautious of, and also don't react to it too much. Definitely don't react to it. Sometimes workplace expenses can be quite high. It can create like a little bit of kind of like, it could be an overwhelming start to the week in your workplace. But one thing that I would just do is just make sure, just don't say anything just fucking stupid. Try not to react too much. Try not to be too aggressive or combative or defensive or anything like that. Because you want to avoid such things. But then what you have is that Mars, on the other hand, is now entering into Scorpio. So as Mars is entering into Scorpio, it's actually really, really powerful because it's in its own sign of Mars here as well. So, okay. So it's really interesting, actually. This kind of placement's quite rare. There's a book called the Parashara Shastra, and it mentions when Mars is in the sign of Capricorn, essentially it becomes really, really powerful. Because Mars's energy is very, very extreme, right? It's probably got one of the most extreme energies out there of any planet. And then what happens in this kind of placement is that it's encountered with discipline. So this is the kind of planetary alignment that you see in world-class bodybuilders, world-class musicians, something like that, because you've got extreme power with extreme discipline, which is awesome. That's a fucking rare placement. So which is great. So your discipline and energy will just work really, really well together. And in this chart, actually, so that number, Mars then becomes exalted, and it's sitting 11th from itself in the sign of emotions. It's a beautiful, beautiful placement of Mars. Awesome placement of Mars. And Mars is going to be such a good thing when it comes to gains from your social circle specifically, and those working in, say, for example, social media, content creating, anything like that. Mercury is also here. So your communication is going to be just great. It's going to be just working in your favor in so many ways towards the middle of the week. Apologies, I'm a little bit ill, so I do apologize. So yeah, towards the middle of the week. Super powerful placement. Mars then is not only sitting in the 11th house, but also in the 5th house, again related to speculative gain. So what you'll see here is that luck from children, luck from your friends' children, all that kind of thing. Luck from, like, if you work in a nursery and you've got this kind of placement, you're laughing. If you work as a teacher, anything like that, you'll find that you're getting luck, a lot of luck. It's very good as well in terms of like education. And also, if we look at the 6th house of, yeah, I mean, it's getting rid of enemies. It's getting rid of debt towards the end of the week. If you're super in debt or something, this is the time that it may get alleviated, or you may get something preferential. So say, for example, if you owe, I don't know, like a crazy amount of money, this is where the bank says, hey, look, we're going to stop sending letters and stuff. Let's just come up with a tailored plan so everyone's a winner. So that kind of stress from your enemies, from debtors and all that kind of thing, that'll all be gone, which is great. So it's a great time of recovery. It's a very, very good time for recovery, mental, spiritual, financial, emotional. It's all there. And what that'll then do, because you've got that strength from the social circle, is that what that'll then do is pave the way for you to be just super extroverted. Be extroverted at this time. Go out, go party, go for drinks, go on dates, do all that kind of stuff. If you're married, just pretend like you and your partner aren't, and you're kind of like dating each other all over again. Make it like all spontaneous and romantic. Fantastic time to be extroverted, and then try and be very, very kind of outgoing and outlandish and out there. Obviously within reason, don't do anything stupid, but yeah. And then what we have at the end of the week, Moon is entering into the sign of Capricorn here. So towards the end of the week, okay, so it creates Makara here because it's being aspected. So it's fantastic for negotiation, communication, especially in the workplace with family members, friends, lovers, all that kind of thing. So your negotiation skills are going to be next level. You're kind of going to be like who's a really good salesman? I was reading a book by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. He's a pretty good salesman, right? And he was basically giving like a ton of examples from like Arnold Palmer. I think he's like a golf player or something. And one of the things that he said is like, always remember everyone's names, make it an effort to remember everyone's names and all that sort of thing, which I thought was great. But essentially, you're going to be a mix between him and like Tony Robbins. You're just going to be just electric at this time when it comes to your kind of negotiation and communication skills. Obviously, check your Mahadasha and Antradasha reports though, just before kind of, you know, making a final decision, because obviously this is a general reading. So for a very accurate reading, what you need to do is go to a Vedic astrologer or a Vedic astrology site, or if you would like a personal reading myself, I can also look at your chart and then kind of do your report. And we also do Sadhasati reports as well. So let's get into the tarot now. Okay, so this one popped out. What have we got here? King of Wands. Okay, we don't do reverse readings. Reverse readings can be seen as negative, and even with every negative thing in life, there is positivity there. Like even if you think it. So after my readings, I need to work out actually. And what is working out is essentially self-harm. You're lifting up a weight to rip into rip into your muscle kind of fibers to then become stronger and bigger, right? So with every negative, there's always a positive there. And for the King of Wands, enough said. Enough said. I mean, it would have been better if it was the King of Pentacles, but because there are, a couple of perhaps challenging things here, like hidden enemies, like all that kind of thing, the workplace, that can happen. But in all honesty, you'll be absolutely fine during this time. So my wonderful, wonderful Capricorns, have a fantastic, fantastic week ahead. I'll catch you in the next reading. Please do like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see each other soon. Ciao for now.